guys, Betsy here with Unique Paper 15. Thanks so much for stopping by today. Today is a project, not a haul. Oh my gosh. So here is what we're going to be making today. It's one of those little mini Tim Holtz clipboards that I've shown in my previous hauls. And a lot of you may know about these, but I wanted to just turn it into a piece of art. So I took some of my cut and colors from the 30-day coloring challenge and then just stamped out a bunch of images, colored them, and then used my Altenew alphabet dies and some Carpe Diem ephemera and some sequins and some other stuff you'll see here along the way, and some Mod Podge, as I'm showing you here. This is the high gloss one, and my Tombow Mono Multi Glue for the adhesive. And I have a cup of water here with an old brush, one that I don't mind destroying, and we're also going to need a craft mat, and I'll show you everything that we're gonna do. So I lay down my craft mat, put the nice clean dry clipboard and an old like art rag there because it's gonna get dirty. Make sure you have some wipies on hand because you're gonna be using a lot of different types of like glitter, adhesive, and the Mod Podge type adhesive as well. And I also use a couple other glazes as well. That's my little baby wipe cup that I like to use. So my first one is this Tulip Fabric Spray Paint. I use this more than I forget to mention. Also, one of my Thermocraft glues. I'm sure you could use any glue you like. And this glass stain here, I'm going to try that on the project as well, but you'll see here. So I'm going to take off my cut and colors and just kind of line them out. And I like the way that looks. I want to make sure they're straight. And I had put a pencil line there, you'll see here. I erase it later, but at the end, if there's any marks, you actually don't see it because you're going to have all this like glue and glitter and things like that. So just line your letters up or your image, whatever you'd like, as straight as you can. If you have a T-squared ruler, it works a lot better, just so you know. So what I did here is I measured out an increment. So say I went to 2.5 inches and I marked that there, and then I went to the other side and did the exact same, and then just made my line. And that's where all of those letters are going to bottom up to. Now you could do this on many other things. It doesn't have to be just a clipboard, but it sure was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to start sending some of these out. Now, the Ellen Hutson craft lady there, her legs got cut off. I think she was just like a test image. So I thought she was perfect for this because rather than throw her away because she wasn't a whole person, it actually worked really well with this project. And I do like to repurpose a lot of my images like this. So here we go. I'm gonna take this, it's like a sand eraser, and it's the mono one if you guys have it. And I'm roughing up a little bit of the board here, and I'm also erasing that line, so it's kind of like a two-fold purpose because I want the adhesive to stick a little better because it does have somewhat of a glaze on top of the clipboard. So I'm just going to put a little bit of my multi-matte when I get it going, and there we go. Should be going now. And that's all you need. You don't need a lot of glue on this because you're going to be coating it and coating it and coating it. And also you don't want your image to warp or bubble. So I'm just gonna put her right beside that clamp. You wanna be aware of the clamp, and I'll show you here later that you can actually tape that clamp off so that it doesn't get any type of adhesive or paint on it. So now everything's glued down. And now I'm looking for some embellishments, some like ephemera pieces, just something that says craft. And I've laid out my little like dishes there, my little ramekins, and I picked images that I thought would be kind of cute. And it's funny what I actually end up going with versus all of the ones that I picked out that I thought I would use. It would have been way too crowded if I used all of them. So that's the layout I like. My favorite, it's like a piece of wood, and then I have a heart there, some scissors, and those are little scissors in there that Jude sent me. It's a really cute sequin mix. And those are some Crafty Girl from Carpe Diem, I believe, or Reset Girl. That's it, Reset Girl. Those are some ephemera from one of her lines. And again, I'm just gonna put some multi-matte on here. Not a lot, because we're gonna be coating this like crazy. And that's it. So slap it down where you'd like it to go. Make sure it's nice and flat. And you'll see I have some supporting little images around there too, like the ATG gun, the pencil, the scissors from the Hutson line. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to put down a bunch of little glue pieces for these little scissors that are actually a sequin mix. I'm not sure where Jude got these, but I absolutely love them. I want to ask her because I don't have many left and I'd like to get some more. They're really adorable. So I'm just picking some random spots here, and I'm gonna put these little sequins down. And they're delicate, so you have to be quite dedicated with these guys. You'll see how tiny they are. And that's it, they're that tiny. And they're down. Now what I'm gonna do is I wanna put down another layer of, well, first I'm gonna show you this. That's what it looks like so far, just so you can see. It's kind of cute so far, right? I like it. Everything's dry now and all the images are glued down, nothing's coming off. But you wanna make sure that it stays that way because some of these, you know, like the little sequins are a little 3D. So that wood piece is actually 3D. So I want to make sure that everything's adhered well, and then we're going to seal it. So I'm opening my little jar of water here. And again, I have that brush that it's like an older brush. I don't mind if I get glue on it. I'm showing you it's like a rough bristle brush. And I'm going to open my Mod Podge. This is the high gloss. And I'm going to paint this whole entire board. First I paint just behind that wood piece. I don't want to call it ephemera, but it's like that little wood, my favorite thing. And as you know, Mod Podge dries clear and then in a gloss. And you can see I painted the whole thing there. And I put a piece of paper, do you see under this? It's actually one of my little craft pieces of paper, or craft mats, under the clamp, just to show you an option of what you can do. Now I got my brush a little wet to get off some of the adhesive, and I'm thinning it out. That's all I'm doing right there, is making sure that all of the Mod Podge is kind of even and none of it's like in clumps or globs. And I'm gonna let that dry. And that's all I'm gonna do at this stage. You can put a piece of tape under that clamp, by the way. You don't have to use a craft mat. I'm just giving you an idea there. I ended up, I think, using blue painter's tape at the end. And now I'm going to release that. Make sure it's not sticking. It dries quite fast. I mean, because we're just doing a very thin layer here. And I'm actually wiping most of it away from where that clamp touches the clipboard. And also Mod Podge isn't that strong that it's gonna stop a spring, so don't stress about that. Making sure everything's okay and clean. Letting it dry a little bit, wiping the bottom of the clamp just to make sure there's no adhesive on there. And I think we're good. It's not gonna stick. So now you can see Everything we painted over the images. You don't need to worry about them bleeding. They're not going to bleed. It's just going to glaze it. So now I'm going to adhere the wooden piece. If I would have done the Mod Podge after I put the wooden piece on, I would have had like, I think I would have had like groupings in the corners, on the edges. I think it would have looked not as seamless. At least that's what I think. So that's why I did the Mod Podge first. So I'm just adhering a little more multi-matte here. And now I'm going to slap this down on the clipboard. I just want to make sure that this is adhered very well. And this is obviously not going to be a functional clipboard. This is just like a piece of art for someone. And I'm going to put that right in the middle there. And I'm going to let it dry. Doesn't take very long. That glue dries quite fast. And now it's dry. So, well, it's drying, I should say. Now it's dry. Okay, now that everything's dry, the wood piece is on, we have our glaze. You see what I mean? You can see which direction that the Mod Podge goes. So you always want to make sure that you do your Mod Podge in the same direction. So now I'm taking that sand eraser and I'm just erasing under where the clamp comes down, in case if you feel anything sticky at all, that comes up really easy. So that just make sure that your clamp is free. And that's it so far. So now we have gotten the first layer down and everything glued on. So now we're gonna do our next step, which is that fabric spray paint. It has like a purple glitter in there. It's actually really, really cute. So I'm gonna get out a little ramekin, these little dishes here. And what I'm going to do is make a little concoction. So I'm going to take my spray paint or fabric paint and shake it up really well, because like I said, there's a lot of glue and glitter and stuff like that in there. And I'm gonna mix it, you'll see here in a second, with some Mod Podge. See, that's what it looks like. That's just the spray paint. It's very, very, very glittery. Now this is where I'm gonna put in a little bit of Mod Podge just to thin it out so it's not too like, I don't know, glittery. You'll see here in a second. So I'm going straight in for the fabric paint. Trying to show you the glitter, but it just won't focus. There you go. It's really glittery in person. It's hard to pick up on camera, but at the end it might. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint the wood portion here. And again, this is safe for anything that you've already glazed. I would not put this directly on the paper itself, only on something that's glazed. So I've covered the whole entire board now, and I'm going to let it dry. You didn't see me mix a little bit of the Mod Podge in there, but I did to kind of thin some of that sparkle paint out. And that's it. That is the finished image after it dries. I think it's really cute. I think it's a great gift to give somebody, and it's also a great idea to use for your leftovers. So if you guys like it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, but definitely come back for more. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.